Well, the age of the six-man rotation is here, and we're going to talk about what that means for the Astros in 2026 and a couple minor signings. Let's get into it right now.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you. Join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey. We are Locked On Astros podcast. We thank you for becoming an everydayer, somebody that listens to our podcast every day. We thank you for making us your first listen, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you for checking us out. We hope that you become a member of the Everydayer Club. It keeps on expanding every day. Pardon the pun, but thank you for making us your first listen. Go to subscribe to us on YouTube. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The wild card round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. So, Brett, I know that we've technically touched on it, but I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the six-man rotation, and I wanted to get some of our everydayers that have joined the live broadcast. I want to get their opinion about who they think is going to be in this six-man rotation to start the season and why the Astros are going to six-man rotation. What are some key dates coming up, including a very, very, very key date tomorrow that we'll probably go ahead and do a show talking about what numbers were exchanged. And the Astros make two minor signings in the last 2 days. So, Brett, what is up? Are you still riding as high of the Imai signing?
Well, heck yeah. I mean, he's 2-0. I mean, I'm surprised that he wasn't at the U of H game where the Cougars erased a 13-point deficit versus the Texas Tech Red Raiders, Cougs house, in Fleming, their stud freshman, lit up the scoreboard 9 points in the last 2 minutes to help them win. But there was an Astro that was in the building. It was Joe Espada. Joe Espada was there. Joe Espada talked a little bit about Imai, got some questions, and I was like, man, he goes, you know what? The reason why I'm here is I love supporting the city. We love being here. This atmosphere is electric. He gave compliments to Kelvin Sampson and all that stuff. But hey, the Astros are clearly prioritizing the roster collapse last year that they went through. They got 15 starters that we know they used back in 2025. This year, they have 18,000 starters, and they're going to see whoever fights for possession. You know what I'm saying? It seems like they've got a lot of starters, okay? But this six-man rotation is something that you and I have talked about before it has even become a hot topic. And I think if you read the writing on the wall of what's going on, it makes perfect sense because they've got the horses in the barn. The question is, what position will the horses be placed in? You know, if you watch F1 racing, they always have, now it's a sprint race. They have a sprint race to determine who the, 1 through 16 or 1 through 20 starters are, right? And if you're top 3, you are in the poll, and the guys in this rotation want to be in the top 3. Well, we know who the number 1 is. It's clearly going to be Hunter Brown. The question is, who's the 2 and the 3? And so that's where we get into the nitty gritty. But I think the Astros got some great options. Do the Astros still have it in them to get another starter? They may, but according to the trade today between the Cubs and the Marlins for Edward Cabrera, oh my gosh, the price was extremely steep. So they probably won't be getting another starting pitcher if they want someone for the front end.
You can tell why a lot of teams backed off of Cabrera because that was a huge package. Giving up Massey, the Cubs' number 1 pick. This is an outfielder that didn't really do so well at the big league level last year, but with time and patience, I think he's going to be a pretty good player. So I think the Marlins did pretty well. Edward Cabrera is going to be a good pitcher for the Cubs, but they had the prospect capital. The Astros did not. They had a top prospect that the Marlins really wanted. And so, but the reasons why the Astros are going with the 6-man rotation, Imai, he strives, but he pitches better when he has 5 days off versus 4 days. But you also have a lot of pitchers that have not pitched a lot of innings, so you're going to need to go ahead and spread that out. Hunter Brown, he may be I think he's young enough. He's not really at the Justin Verlander stage in his career where he needs to pitch every 5th day, but you may try to structure it where he could still pitch every 5th day. But I don't think this is going to affect him. He's going to go out there and be like, just tell me when to go throw. But Hunter Brown is obviously the ace. So the question is, who's going to pitch behind him and what 5 guys are going to join him in the rotation? Obviously, Imai is going to be in there. Is he going to be second or third? Christian Javier is likely going to be second or third. So I would go ahead and hazard guess those are the top 3. I would say that I know that a lot of people might disagree with this, but Spencer Arrighetti, I think with the fact that the Astros turned down a big trade for Dylan Cease last year to hold on to him, I think he's going to get a hard, long look at during spring training and see how he's bouncing back from his issues. But I think that's probably going to be your top 4 because when Spencer Arrighetti is on, he's probably one of the best pitchers the Astros have outside of Hunter Brown.
Yeah, 100%. And, I'm definitely I'm going to give that the H-Town Wheelhouse stamp of approval. That just became a thing a millisecond ago because I thought about it. But I love your top 4. I do think, look, if Javier doesn't camp what we know Christian Javier can do, clearly I think he's earned that spot to go number 2. Imai will be number 3. I believe he's going to be a team player. He'll respect that. And can you imagine if we would have traded Arrighetti for Dylan Cease, the chances are Dylan Cease would have done what he did this year in the offseason. He would have left the Astros. Yeah. We would have lost Arrighetti, and he wouldn't be a Houston Astro anymore.
Matthews likely too.
Yeah. So there's 3 or 4 players you're losing to you don't have anymore. To the victor goes the spoils, and I think the Padres would have won that deal. Of course, unless through some like story style, Disney miracle, the Astros make it to the World Series and Dylan Cease pitches in Game 7 versus the Dodgers and they win. That, not likely that happened. But at the same time, what's more interesting to me is not the front end of this rotation. It's the back end. It's Ryan Weiss, Mike Burrows, Jason Alexander. Now, I think Jason Alexander fits in this equation more because it's a 6-man rotation. I know he came over. He did a lot of the heavy lifting last year, Eric. But I'm glad, and this is no disrespect to Jason Alexander, but I'm glad the Astros aren't having to depend on him to be in the front end. Because with Jason Alexander's stuff, when you and I talked to him, when I talked to him with Mike, he knows that his stuff is hittable. He just has figured out front foot changeups and things like that to keep this hitters swinging and missing. But think about the wealth we have. And I didn't even mention Lance McCullers Jr. We didn't even say Blue Ball. We didn't even say Pearson. But then there's Colton Gordon. Look, dude, the barn is full and we've got thoroughbreds in there. So my question to you is this, Eric. Ryan Weiss and Mike, I think Burrows has a place. I think Ryan Weiss is a little bit more of a question, but I do think those 2 guys, is there any way, do you think, that they remove Lance McCullers out of this rotation? I'll tell you the one way I think it happens. If Lance McCullers goes into the spring and just lays eggs and is not very good in spring training, I think that's the only way he's not on the rotation. What do you think about Lance McCullers Jr. being in this rotation?
Well, I think that he showed that he can be used in the bullpen, but I don't know if he's a valuable asset. Let's just say that out there in the bullpen. I think the Astros realize that his best spot is definitely in the rotation. So I'm thinking they're going to give him a chance in spring training to see what he could do. And if he makes the rotation, he makes a rotation. Weiss has not proven anything at the big league level. Yes, he did all that at the KBO, but what has he done at the big league level? Nothing much so far. Mike Burrows, he's definitely going to be in the rotation. He'll probably be the fifth guy at this point, fourth or fifth guy, depends on what order they're looking at. But it's just crazy, the whole fact that you mentioned all this, and Jason Alexander is probably on the outside looking in. With the season he had last year, he may not be even on the roster to start the season, or the active roster.
Yeah, I think, to me, he's a guy that you could plug and play a little bit. Okay. Yeah. He's the guy, Pearson could be that guy. I mean, who is going to be our Brad Peacock from 2017, right? Peacock made starts and he was a bullpen guy, and he was a guy that you depended on. So who's going to play that role? They're talking about wanting bullpen arms. Now, my only issue with this rotation, Eric, there's no left-handers.
Yeah, well, there is, but they're a closer than a possible setup guy. So we'll go and continue this conversation next on the Locked On Astros podcast. Oh.
What's up, everybody? This is H-Town Wheelhouse, and I'm here to talk to you about FanDuel. Why? Because FanDuel's great. The wild card round is here. The Texans are in the playoffs, and they're taking on their nemesis. Do y'all remember the call against Houston when they said Renfroe didn't have his feet in the end zone, and he did? Well, we're going to have our revenge game, and FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action, because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets you like most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boost you want to apply. The boost let you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum defense, the Texans defense, quarterback play, or coaching. The boosts give you more juice on your bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. Every play feels bigger, and the boost make your bets feel that much better. Make your picks, apply the profit boost, and go after even bigger payouts while you watch the Texans beat the Steelers of Pittsburgh. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. But we are going to go talk a little bit about the Everydayers Club. This is something that you have the option of subscribing for. If you want to go ahead and get to the Everydayers Club, it's $5 a month, $50 a year. You get access to the Discord server, the ad-free versions of the podcast, and so many different benefits. And if you upgrade to the all access, you get the newsletter. You get the subtext. There's just so many different benefits of the Everydayers Club. So go ahead and go to lockedonastros.supercast.com. And it's going to be in the show notes as well. You can go ahead and find out how to become members. We have some that have already joined the club. So if you're one of those, thank you. Everybody else, y'all can go ahead and continue the conversation outside of the realm. So I know, Brett, before you're talking about the rotation doesn't have any left-handers. There's some in the bullpen, but none in the rotation, just because we're so used to having
starters.
Framber Valdez. Yes, you're used to having that guy. But I don't think they're going to say, you know what, we need a lefty. Let's go ahead and have Colton Gordon be in the rotation just to have a lefty. I don't think they're going to do that.
I didn't say they were going to do that with Colton Gordon.
I didn't say you did.
But what I am saying is I would be very shocked if they went into this season with all righties. I still think that they're going to go out and get another pitcher, another lefty. I just don't know who's out there. That's not going to cost an arm and a leg. The guys at Just Baseball suggested a trade for MacKenzie Gore to the Nationals. Okay. And it was like, I don't know if you saw it. It was Xavier Nayans, It was Alvarez, who is in the minor leagues, not Jordan.
Kevin Alvarez.
Yeah, Kevin Alvarez, and then like two other guys. And now those guys, Nance probably won't be in the big leagues till 27 or 28. He's a high school kid. He's fresh out of high school. Kevin Alvarez, I don't know that. I think he might end up being more like Pedro Leon. Unfortunately, I don't know that he's going to reach the billing that they thought. So maybe those guys don't pan out. But I also don't think that package is big enough for what MacKenzie Gore is going to bring. I think if Eduardo Cabrera brings the kind of bounty that he brought from Chicago, MacKenzie Gore's got to bring a lot more, because MacKenzie Gore,
I think Cabrera is a little bit more valuable because he has more time left on his contract than MacKenzie Gore.
That's true. But I think what MacKenzie Gore offers you in innings and durability and the type of pitcher he is, I just think the price is inflated. Now, maybe those two, comparing them, I haven't compared them out and really looked at them side by side. I just think at the end of the day, the Astros may not have enough in the coffers to be able to trade for someone like a MacKenzie Gore. But Eric, I've got a question. What?
Where you want to put them? You already have 15 starters, 12 starters. Where you want to put them?
If you get MacKenzie Gore, then you use one of your guys as a trade piece. I mean, so right now, I have a question. Are we going with Cesar Salazar as our backup catcher, or is Victor Caratini being at the Rockets game any sign that he's going to sign with the Astros? Are they going to get Caratini? If they get Caratini, they're going to have to trade for somebody and do something.
I still think they're going to probably bring in a backup catcher. He keeps on bringing it up. If you really had the faith in Cesar Salazar to be that guy, to be the backup catcher, you would
say he's our guy.
Yeah, he's our guy. We have faith in him. But Dana Brown has said on several occasions, we're looking for a bullpen arm. I think they have enough starters where they're probably going to put a starter into the bullpen. And they do have enough bullpen depth already. But I really think that the primary focus right now is on a catcher. They are about $6 million under the CBT as of right now, depending on, we'll talk about this in a second, what the arbitration and all the final numbers are, but they can possibly get a backup catcher with that amount. But I think that it's nice to have Cesar Salazar, but to go into the season as a championship contender, to rely on him right now, I don't think that's what the Astros want to do.
Hey, Eric, real quick, I want to answer this question because I think even those listening would like to hear this, and so I'll put on the screen and I'll read it. He says, Brett, I have a question for you. Do you think the Astros will have a rotational infield if Paredes stays? He says, I think they should rotate the infield so they won't be prone to getting injured. Look, load management is a thing these days. Load management is something that is more a part of the game than it's ever been. The old schoolers of Craig Biggio's, the Cal Ripkins, those guys, they don't really understand it from their perspective, but they understand where the game's going. Guys, I know we're not that far away from spring training, but Eric, I don't know about you. I don't see how they go into the season with both Walker and Paredes on this roster. I just don't think. I think Paredes is an everyday starter, but if he's an everyday starter, he has nowhere to start every day. So that means Christian Walker's got to go. I mean, when we don't know what's being discussed behind closed doors, because every time people are like, oh yeah, Dana Brown's not doing anything, boom, something happens. Do you think there's any way, Eric? I don't think there is. Do you think there's any way they make these guys rotational platoon players? I mean, isn't that kind of treating them like Mauricio Dubon? No offense to Dubon, but he's not Paredes.
I don't know if they're going to rotate somebody per se like that, but they're going to have to back off what they're trying to do. If they're trying to keep Jose Altuve at second base, they may have to put him back in left field. If they're trying to say that Alvarez is going to be the full-time DH, they might have to back up off that. So what you could be having here is the fact that you have a GM who might be still trying to make a deal. So everybody around here saying, yes, you can't go into the season. Sure, you would like to have this many players, but if you look at it, you can't rotate these players enough and do what you say you're going to do. Have Altuve at second base, have Alvarez as the DH primary most of the time, and not have them in outfield. So something's got to give. So this is probably GM talk A. There may be something still trying to go on there. Like I wouldn't bank on anything happening, but Dana Brown's still saying, hey, we can make this work. But I don't know how they can give everybody enough at bats to make it work without putting one of those guys in left field and getting everybody in the outfield enough playing time. I just don't see it.
Let's do this. There's certain levels of Little League where if you have 14 players, all 14 players hit. I mean, come on. I mean, look, if we got ghost runners,
you can find them at H-Town Wheelhouse.
I'm just saying. I mean, they're talking about these like crazy rules. Remember when I forget what it was, some like cockamamie thing with like Manfred had mentioned something, just a total in jest comment. And, we reacted to it a little bit, but we knew it was in jest. But that would be hilarious. Like, see, how many you got on the bench? 13 today? Okay, all 13 guys are hitting. Like, what? Like, what are we doing? But literally, you'd have to have like 3 DHs for this team to play everybody. Mm-hmm. So I just wonder what they're doing. I just wish they would tell us a little bit more, but it gets closer.
Yeah, if Dana Brown is actively trying to make a trade, he can't sound desperate. This is smoke and mirrors. So you've got to understand that, because even when the Astros tried to sign Brian McCann or trade for Brian McCann years ago, they're like, yeah, the Astros are not getting Brian McCann. Next day, Brian McCann is signed. So that happened. So guys, we'll go ahead and continue this conversation. We'll go ahead and talk about some key dates, including tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and talk about the Astros minor moves they made in the past couple of days.
All right, let's be real. Managing your finances can be overwhelming. Between subscriptions you may have forgotten you have, bills that keep going up, and trying to figure out where all your money actually goes each month, it's easy to feel like you're losing control. And who has time to track every transaction or hunt down hidden fees? That's where Rocket Money comes in, the personal finance app that helps you take control. It finds and cancels unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I was shocked to see when Rocket Money revealed to me the subscriptions I had. I didn't even know what these things were. I'm like, wow, really? I have a Manscaped subscription? That's crazy. I didn't even know that. I love how it tracks all my subscriptions. It tells me where to cancel the things I'm not using. The automatic transaction categorization is a game changer. I can see exactly what it is I need to get rid of. It even consolidates your checking, savings, loans, investments into a single dashboard, so you get these clever views of your entire portfolio. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/locked on. That's rocketmoney.com/locked on. rocketmoney.com/locked on.
Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Thank you for making us part of the #1 podcast network out there, Locked On. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out our Everydayer Club. You could go ahead and, if you join the All Access tier, you can go ahead and get access to the subtext where you can text Brett and I if the Astros make a big signing, if Dana Brown makes a big trade or something, or you're just excited about opening day. Hey, we're in line. Where are you at, Brett? Where are you at, Eric? And you could just send us a message through subtext, and just a way to access us without waiting to the podcast that night. You also get this special all access episodes that Brett and I will be doing. I know I'm be doing one pretty soon about my where my Astros fandom started. I know, Brett, you're going to be doing one of those coming up. You get a whole bunch of different stuff, including the Discord and discounted Locked On merch. So many different ways to get rewarded for being an everydayer. So if you go ahead and go to lockedonastros.supercast.com, you could go ahead and subscribe today. It's in the show notes. So, Brett, we've kind of been focusing a lot on catching and the rotation. So let's go and talk about some big dates. The biggest date I would say is coming up tomorrow. This is the deadline for teams and players to basically exchange our numbers and agree with contracts before they have to go to arbitration. So it's basically you have players like Hunter Brown, Brian Abreu, Jeremy Pena, Isaac Paredes, Jesus Sanchez, Jake Myers, Yainer Diaz, Stephen Ockert, Bennett Souza, and Hayden Wesneski. So basically they say, hey, Hunter Brown, we think that you're worth this much. You like this number? And Hunter Brown will say, sí, muy bueno. And then he'll say, no, I don't agree with that. Let's go ahead and go to arbitration, buddy, or something like that. So they'll just exchange numbers.
Well, Mike Stanton, and I'm gonna need to bring him on the show here pretty soon, because I mean he knows all about this, and he said the arbitration process is absolutely brutal. He said whenever he was trying to negotiate with the Red Sox, it was the year after he got he went there from the Braves, and then he was a free agent, or he was arbitration eligible. And he said the Red Sox just spent 15, 20 minutes telling me how bad of a pitcher I was and I couldn't do this and that. And I was like, you literally brought me over here for all these things, and I did all these things. Like, what are you talking about? So it can be a demoralizing process. The baseball players, I think, though, this is a grown man's game. They know it's all about the bottom line. And so the player's job is to validate who they are and their worth. The job of the team is to get that player to agree to an arbitration salary, okay, that doesn't break their bank or put them in a compromising position. So time will tell what is said. And of course, this week, those decisions will be made. But Hunter Brown, speaking of him, Dana Brown had talked about, Boris has his agent, and we know that he wants an extension, or we know that we want to offer him an extension, but we will be talking to him about that here in the near future. So he will getting some extension talks. And I think Jeremy Pena as well. He's also with Boris now, but hey, Boris has got what? Pena, Altuve, Imai, and who's the other guy I just mentioned? Hunter Brown. So he's got 4 Astros on his roster. The thing is, Scott Boras isn't the enemy of the Astros like most people make him out to be.
Do you remember Carlos Beltran the first time around? He is the enemy.
That was okay.
He is Darth Vader.
Well, that was back then. But the Scott Boras now, you admit he's made a lot of team friendly. I mean, he made the Altuve team friendly deal. Did you hear Dana Brown basically said, well, his agent, when talking about the Hunter Brown extension, well, his agent is Scott Boras, so that might make it a little bit difficult. So we'll see. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. But
was me.
But I think you got to sign him sooner rather than later. But hey, Eric, there are some important dates we need to make sure we share. We can't forget that, right?
Yes.
You got on here January 24th is what, Eric?
That is the FanFest. That's when you can go out there and meet your players. You can sign for autographs. You can go ahead and pitch in the dugout. You can go into the field.
Pitch in the dugout.
Not pitch in the bullpen. Sorry, I'm tired.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
There's a lot of stuff that you get to do. If you haven't been to FanFest, go ahead and try to do it. It's something I may try to do this year. I know I didn't go last year, but it's a cool option, especially if you go to the garage sale. If you didn't get a chance to get all the bobbleheads, or you can try to get the bobbleheads for a pretty good price. But there's some other dates. But before we get to that, I forgot to mention this the other day, but Jim Crane didn't talk about Imai's opt-outs, and he basically said that it's something that Dana Brown felt like he had to do to get this deal done, and it's kind of the reality of today's market. Opt-outs are often the cost of landing premium international talent, And so he basically said they're betting on the culture, pitching development, and comfort to keep him here long term. So they have a track record with Japanese pitchers, so that helped. So Jim Crane wasn't too worried about it. So like I said, it seems like he feels like at home already here in Houston. At the Rockets game, he's at the Texans game. I'm sure he's doing a lot more stuff while he's in Houston.
Yeah, I can see Imai staying here longer than just one season, Eric. Yeah. I just think it will be a good thing, especially if he has success. Look, if the Astros get back to the playoffs for the first time in a season, I mean, to be one season out of the playoffs seems like an eternity for this run, this current generation of Astros fans, I should say. It's just one of those things. But Eric, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put any options or opt-outs on there, but I'm actually going to purchase 4 extra tickets to FanFest and give those away to our audience probably here. I'll announce it over the weekend, but I'm going to purchase 4 tickets and I'm going to make those available, and you can win a pack of 4 tickets to FanFest. Maybe you and the family can go, not you, Eric, you have to buy your own ticket.
You're not buying my tickets? Jeez,
no, wow. I know. Well, I'm buying 2. I assume you would like one of them. But I'm buying 4 additional tickets to FanFest. And, I might throw in a surprise bonus in there. I don't know. I have to look at all the prices, but definitely y'all do that. FanFest, dude, pitchers and catchers report for the World Baseball Classic, February 9th. That's a thing, it's
coming pretty quickly, but I do want to touch on this before the end of the show. The Astros did make 2 signings. Christian Roa, he signed today. He's a Texas A&M product, so I'm sure a lot of y'all will be happy about that. He's got a 96-mile-per-hour four-seamer and a sinker. He's got a slider, and so he's probably going to be a reliever option, but it's a minor league deal. So it's just another piece to the puzzle in case they need it, some more options, because there's not a lot of depth in the Astros farm system. So it's another piece. And then you sent before the show, I guess we both missed him, Sam Carlson, who's actually a media, or I guess a social media sensation.
Yeah. He's got several 100,000 followers on TikTok, 91,000 on Instagram, but he actually has some pretty impressive numbers in the minor leagues, Eric. He did pitch again for AAA Oklahoma City Comets last year. He's logged 365 strikeouts in 316 innings pitched. He is a guy that's a former first or second round pick. Go look at his Instagram. This dude seems like a big body pitcher. Looks like he can throw some gas. And look, you take these guys on a flyer. He has an invite to major league camp. So time will tell if these guys pan out. But again, you can never have too much pitching. And you know what? I'm going to go to FanFest. I kind of sprung that on you. I don't know if you're even available that weekend, but if you go with me and we end up hanging out together, we'll let y'all know and we can meet up with our fans. And that'll be kind of a fun thing to do as well.
It depends on when, how turnaround is going, where I'm working.
Exactly.
If I'm able to do it at that time, I'm sure be able to go, maybe bring my family. But guys, that's all we got. Tomorrow we'll probably do a show talking about arbitration exchanges, who accepted, who's avoiding arbitration, who's going arbitration. Tomorrow's going to be a very exciting day. It's one of the most exciting days of the off season because it's kind of like setting up for soap opera drama. Who's gonna go to court or whatever. So
go to
guys,
court. What are they doing?
Arbitration.
Are they breaking the law? Go to court. Well, hey, you know what, guys? I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros podcast. Like Eric said, tomorrow we will be talking about the arbitration numbers, what comes out. Make sure you subscribe and follow Locked On Astros on all social media aspects. I mean, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's X, here on YouTube. You can get us anywhere. And right now, if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Astros ad free, plus a members only Discord across access and more, head to lockedonastros.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 national Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen Locked On MLB.
And guys, we will see you tomorrow.
Go Stros. Man, I don't even get the word go out. It's like done. You're done, Brett.